All right, so we have the start of a model. We've taken the, pardon me, we've taken what started as a cube and we have reformed it to look substantially less like a cube and a little bit more like the bottom of something. But we need to expand it out from here. Now, it is tempting to look at this and do something like this and stretch it out. Or, less terrible, but still not quite as effective, we can select all the vertexes and pull this up like this. That will give you more geometry to work with. But there is another way to do this that can let us kind of shape as we go, and it's something called extrude. Extrude creates new geometry on top of the geometry we have. Because I could expand that up all day, but I need edge loops. There we go. I need to be able to see these edge loops so I can, pinch things in and expand them out and reshape this as I'm going. And extruding is how you add geometry to something. So we're going to extrude faces. You can extrude faces or edges. Because we have this completed top right here, I'm going to extrude faces, and I'm going to switch to my regular select tool, that's Q on the keyboard, without the manipulators because the manipulator gets in the way and it's just like a pain in the neck. And I want to make sure I only have that selected. And a good way to check that is to then bring up a manipulator. So you use this tool to select everything, and then I bring up the move tool and like, is it flush with that? Because if it's here, then I know, oh, something else is, there it is, right? So it should be flush with this. And the extrude tool is in the modeling toolkit tab, and it's right here. And when we click it, it just looks like it's changed manipulators. It is very important when you click this extrude tool to immediately pull up or over on the arrow that is in the direction you're extruding to. It is so important. Because if you don't, or if you undo, make sure you undo to here, and then it should say undo something something poly extrude. Because if you don't undo far enough back, or if you hit extrude and then forget that you touched it, you get hidden faces. And what this looks like is this. Vertexes piled up on top of each other. Good news, there is a fix for that. If you know you have hidden faces, if you're looking at this going, oh, yep, this is definitely a hot mess, this is definitely, I can't, maybe you can't use the multi-cut tool where you want to because there's, there's stuff in the way. There we go. Maybe, you can see weirdness happening. Maybe you went to go move this and this happened, right? There's a lot of different ways to see that there's a problem. But in vertex mode, if you drag select all the vertices and go to, let's see, edit mesh, merge. If you actually go into the settings, you're going to see this threshold. It will merge any vertices that are this close together or closer. That's very, 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 very close. 0.01 is ridiculously close. They're basically sharing the same space. So if I hit merge, I can then click on one of these and see if it worked. And that's the way you test to see if you have hidden faces. You go into vertex mode, you single click a vertex, and you see if you can move it. If you drag select them, you'll get everything that's in the same space, so that doesn't help. All right, so we've, let me go backwards actually. Well, no, let me not go backwards. So we've tested how to fix it if there's a problem. But how do we actually use the extrude, like for realsies? Well, we click the button and we pull up on the arrow that's going in the direction away from there. And you can stick with this manipulator for scaling these things. So I can scale this in a little bit. It scales a little bit differently than the regular scale tool, which you can switch to. if you would like. If you didn't like how it was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was distorting these inside edge loops. The manipulator that comes with the extrude tool was kind of squashing the inside edge loops pretty close together. I'm not a fan of that. So I will usually switch right away to this. Right? But I can pinch this in a little because I know that's what I'm doing. And then with the faces still selected, I can hit extrude again and pull up again, and I can look at my example, and I can pull up a lot more. Maybe right away go to my regular scale tool, scale that in a little bit. It doesn't have to be exact the first time around. You're not going to make it exactly where you need it the first time around. The idea is to get it close, get a general shape, and then go back in. Right? So if I go into edge mode, let's say I know this edge loop needs to be smaller. Well, then I can just double click to select it and scale it from here. Can't do it to the top yet because that's not an edge loop around the top. But you can get a general shape. Generally get the shape you need and keep on extruding up. So this is what we did in class in order to... Oh, it remembered my faces. Fabulous. This is what we did to get the general shape of the hammer, is that we kept extruding up and then kind of reshaping as we went, etc. Now, you can also extrude edges. It just so happens, now I get rid of those faces, now this is a proper edge loop. If the faces are there, it's not an edge loop, because there's four-sided polys, or the wrong sides of polys. But if you get rid of the faces, now it's an edge loop. And you can extrude edges. It's just that what we're working with is a closed shape, so that's not what we're doing. And I undo, and I undo again until it says poly extrude, and now I know there's nothing there. Then I undo again because I want the faces back. All right, so you have to, I'd say extrude is the thing that causes the most problems. So you do have to be the most careful with this. Pay attention to your undo, what it says there, and make sure you get back to where it says undo extrude before you continue.